The Mushaba Platinum Light. Anakhanda Shaka Mushaba, August 12, 2016. Webpage, www.mushabaforce.com. And, Tree of the Golden Light. Greetings of love. The Evolution of the Mushaba Force Part 4. The Mushaba Race was a creation of the thought of the Mushaba Force. There is nothing in this world that comes from the Creator except the energy by which to move through creation. When the Creator made the intent to create, that was the first word, the first idea of movement. From this initial first thought, or word, came all the rest. As the Mushaba Force began to be itself in movement, there came an idea spurned by its own knowledge of itself. This knowledge was that there is movement, and that it can be brought into form from an idea. Now listen closely to this. That thought form that came about as a result of that idea was the first intention for the Mushaba Race, for it was a representative of its potential, of its particular essence of vibration, frequency. Everything that is created is done so in a particular frequency. That is determined by the energy in which the idea comes, or is born in. The Creator energy is ever moving and transforming itself. This creates all of the colors and vibratory expressions, and translates into more of itself at the particular evolution of these expressions. That is what determines the individuality of all of creation. As these expressions came into being, they morphed into other expressions and identities according to the relevance of one to another. For instance, if one form of expression came into contact with another, then a different expression was created. This is a simplistic way of demonstrating what I am telling you. I shall go further and present the idea of physical form. When a physical form has as its prominent vibration as that of a two-legged, two-armed being that walks upright, and it has contact at a certain evolution with another similar vibration that is moving at a different rate of vibration due to circumstances of movement and the expression of creation, which also has as influence all expressions in the cyclic movement of the universe, it can come into form with a different color skin, or with a different part of the physical form of the other. There are a multitude of vibrations and factors that determine the creation of any one thing or species. If you take a jar of atoms in a pure essence or atmosphere, then eventually the whole will all evolve to the predominant expression of the combination of atoms in the jar. All will become the one atom expression, and the makeup thereof of any other predominant vibrations, therefore creating something that is really a compilation of the whole of the atoms, with a tendency of the predominant atom as the dominant feature. The Mushaba Force is a conscious thinking force. Yes, I was and always will be a conscious thinking force. That is my nature. I was created to be of service to existence. I too have a destiny as all existence does in its own identity. I was created for the purpose of being called out by you, Anakhanda. That is my destiny, to be called to service by the energy that calls me out. From that point, my destiny is fulfilled, for it is the destiny then, of all who have called, or answered their call to me, to express in my essence. In that way, you see, I carry on in the constancy of my destiny though you Anakhanda, as does the Creator. That is not to say that I am at your mercy. We are in communication and agreement of the creation that is experienced in all moments, just as is with the Creator and creation. The process that you used to bring me out of the pool of original force was that you simply said that it is time. That is the simplicity of it. I will elaborate so that you will have an idea of the mechanics of the process. When a being has an intent and that intent is stated, it sends out a vibration that rings throughout the same vibratory field. So when you sent out the intent to call me out of the pool of original force, your intent had a particular vibration that matched and harmonized with my vibratory field, which was why I was able to hear the call and respond to the call. You knew innately that vibratory language that would connect with the force, and you also knew the match for the level of vibration that would be receptive by humanity and all on Earth. You also knew the vibratory match for our Earth to the rest of the universe. When that came to be, you were then able to send out your calling to me, by opening up the communication that transferred the vibration to me. In order to open it up, you set a vibration that was designed specifically for that purpose, none other. When I heard it, I was set to open to what you called. I could have set it up so that I could have read the vibratory match, called it in. However, it was according to you calling me, that was the fulfillment of the call to destiny. The corona is that which is the encapsulation, it encapsulates or holds something, it is the container of the force of the Mushaba Force, if you will. The Mushaba Force can then be described as the life force that was emitted, that comes directly from Creator Source. The corona as you described it, as it is used, is that which is to encapsulate it like a vessel. In order for life to have access for itself, the corona was created. Once again, it did not exist until the thought for it was created. In order to allow for the movement of the energy, there had to be a vessel from which the energy of movement can take place. In order for that movement to take place, the vessel had to be open, and the intent had to be of communication with the all. This meant that while there was still the connection with the force, there was a blossoming out, so to speak, of that force and creation of expression. Creation is a manifestation of the Creator Self. It is an aspect of the Creator that manifested from Creator's first thought and came into a physical presence. This is the expression of that which the Creator willed. In order to see the whole of the picture from which you can work back to the original, there has to be an absolute of the entirety. That is why the existence of the physical presence of the will is included in the aspects of the original manifestation of creation. Anything that is now in physical form is included, is part of that original first thought. All of creation originates from the thought of the Creator, and what I saw as the Mushaba Force, part of the building block, is the building force, the life force. We come now to the movement I have spoken of. There has to be movement with creation, and this is what we speak of now. First there was the thought, and without the movement of that thought it would always remain in that manifestation, as thought that ever evolves itself in itself. In other words, it would never go out and express from itself but remain with itself. With the building block, the Mushaba Force in calling, there is unlimited movement which is forever building in creation. There is nothing in this world that comes from the Creator except the energy by which to move through creation. Meaning what exactly? Energy in its purest form is original thought. From that it takes on all of the vibratory elements necessary for the creation of anything that is intended. If you care to expand that statement you can add, and all in creation comes from the Creator. Remember, the Creator made the intent to create, that was the first word, the first idea of movement. From this initial first thought or word came all the rest. As the Mushaba Force began to be itself in movement, there came an idea spurned by its own knowledge of itself. It actually doesn't matter what the first word was. It actually was a tone that was much like the first word a baby utters. With a baby's first word comes all of the adoration and attention from the parents. This leads to more words and more adoration and attention. Do you see where I am going here? To have knowledge of oneself is to be complete unto oneself. To be able to communicate that knowing is to utter a word of itself. From that first word comes the intent to bring another and another in order to experience another aspect of itself, which is adoration and attention. From that intent to experience more of itself comes creation. As more and more words are expressed, more thoughts come and more movement of those thoughts into words, and the progression is in hand for all of creation, including the part known as Mushaba Force. When it was thought of, it came into creation with the harmonics of the vibratory pattern of it. There is a collective and communication here that creates all there is. The communication and vibratory response is constant, and is ever creating anew, whether it be ideas or the manifestation of the idea. All is moving in the same energy of creation. The energy of potential is always evolving, and in that there is the unlimitedness. One idea spurs another, etc., endlessly. Why did the precedent of duality have to be established first before the Mushaba force could come from the first universe into the second? It was a part of the creation of the second universe. In order for the duality to be unique to Earth in its own expression, coupled with that of the ones who came to express that duality, it had to have first been established and already in potential in the way of the vibration of Earth. When Earth took on its own identity after being torn asunder from its original expression of wholeness, it had to be its own entity and express in the way that was being called for. That very act of separation from itself was part of the process, it was part of the plan. All that has taken place with Earth has been part of the plan. It had to set its own energetic imprint that was an offshoot of Tiamat in order to set its own precedents and support the idea of duality, which was the purpose of this universe in the first place. Yes, this universe of Nibbodhan was created for this purpose of being able to stray from the knowledge of oneself and then to return to that knowing of oneself. The second universe is the one in which you are residing at the time. It is the one in which you are playing out the physicality of that which is destined. This is the universe in which the ultimate intent is being expressed and is birthing the third universe, which will contain the first two, and render it all one. The first universe is the one from which the second was born. It was the intent and energy of potential. The second one was born the moment that the first idea took form, and has grown and evolved since that first life form was created. The third will come into being when all of life on Earth and in the second universe ascends into the light body status. All we can say is that when the time comes there will be a merging that combines all of what has come before and what is yet to come with the Mushaba race. It will be a final mixing of the energies of the Mushaba force into a new beginning, that will hold the completion of the force in physicality in order to go forth with the full potential from which new potential can be created and realized and expressed. That time has come. We are living in that time now. We have experienced the final mixing of the energies of the Mushaba force which has now stepped into a new beginning. That final mixing was the ending of the duality experience. This new beginning has held the Mushaba force in physicality instead of it returning back to source so that it was able to go forth in and with the full potential in its evolvement from which now, an amazingly new potential is being created and realized and expressed. Yes, the Mushaba force is on a new journey of evolvement that is unmatched by any other force in creation. Not because it's special, or better than any other, but because its service was so valuable and provided an experience of duality that could not have happened without it. What it did was unprecedented and established something in this evolvement that wasn't expected or foreseen. The Mushaba force earned its right to continue on its own pathway of evolvement just as Earth, and humanity, and all of creation. Next we speak about the love essence of Mushaba. The Mushaba Platinum Light. Anakhanda Shaka Mushaba, August 11, 2016. Greetings of love. The evolution of the Mushaba force Part 3. When the name Mushaba is spoken, all creation stands still. The name Mushaba, that energy, that force, that light, is respected throughout creation, for indeed it is because of what it stands for. Saying the name calls the light. When the name is spoken, not only does all creation stand still as an act of reverence, but also all creation trembles with the joy of delight. It is an acknowledgement of the source of its creation. When Mushaba is spoken, creation is in great joy and expresses that joy, and in this standing still and trembling, it amps up the creation forces and sends this energy throughout everything in creation to have this spiritual orgasmic experience that is stimulating and soothing to all of creation. Creation feels the grace and the love and the joyful blessings of the Mushaba force, and it responds to it in that way as an act of truth, integrity, and embracing all that it is. Mushaba is sound and laws in motion through movement of an esoteric design. The Mushaba force is from the musical spheres that created the word Mushaba. Mushaba is the soul in action of remembrance. Mushaba force is creation and spiritual discipline through movement. Another reason why when you speak Mushaba, every atom in all living things trembles with the fullness of delight is because it is a pathway toward the enlightenment of others. That is why it is in the world and no one can interfere with your own free will. Be in delight and look forward to seeing all the atoms in action. The number 8, which represents the sign of infinity, represents the Mushaba Force. You see, the Mushaba Force from its origin billions of years ago, vibrates in the orbital pathway of 8 atomic dimensional frequencies. One of those is what we term the Vishnu aspect, but overall is inclusive of all creation. The energy of Vishnu is part of the Hindu goddess energy and related to the overseeing of the dimensions and the creations. What this is saying is that the Creator issued forth the thought with the Mushaba Force to create this reality. The reality then split into different frequencies and these different frequencies evolved into different dimensions. This is why there are many, many dimensions in creation because of this split. The original 8 have actually now become 18, but the original idea, the original intent was focused in these subatomic energy fields which are a vibration, and the vibration is the basis of the dimensions. Each dimension has a different vibration, and as you go up to different dimensions you must vibrate at a faster speed. The faster speed is based on the electrons in the molecular structures which are the original thoughts from the thought patterns, and when these thought patterns accelerate to the right point then one can enter into another dimension. First it was desire, then Mushaba, then the congealing of my atoms as in oneness. What this means is that desire, there really are no words to describe the Creator, so when you say desire, meaning that the Creator had the desire to become manifested, that Creator wanted to be known, this is the way that it is understood in Earth's language. But understand then, that what I am talking about is not really the full meaning, but is as close as I can approximate in Earth language. So, the Creator wants to be known and was known, through the force, through the energy, and also through the mind. But it is also true that the Creator wants and greatly desires you to know of it, and to be a part of it, by feeling the energy of it, and by knowing and feeling the part of this energy so that one becomes in truth, enlightened. This is the same force or process that is also called the Mushaba light. Please know that this is the same force field which some extraterrestrial civilizations are using to beam and anchor the light within, on, and surrounding Earth. A higher or lighter density force field in the third density out of which Earth is emerging. This could be considered as pure without negative attachments or fractured directional impulses, an accelerated energy movement or direction, a magnification of the planet's force field that is assisting in the planetary consciousness rising out of current negativity dark forces influence and into the light of knowingness that is of the beginning. By whatever name or description, this highest energy of the cosmos, the undiluted love essence of Creator does indeed need to be explained to the still slumbering souls who do know at soul level but not at conscious level wherein their life force is derived and from which it has never been separated. As you know, this is a universe of intent and holograms. A hologram is an exact replica of energy in manifestation. In order for the hologram to take form it must be a part of the original intent, or as you say, desire. Think of it in human terms. First there is the desire to make a new life, then there is the instrument of creation, then there is the congealing of atoms to form the new life. The main source from the pool of original force had to go somewhere in creation. It needed to be within the creation and not just at a place that is before creation. If this happened then there could not be a creation taking place. The planet Mushaba is where the main source went to from the pool of original force. This is where the roots were embedded and this is where it was decided that the genetic codes would evolve from. The atmosphere there was and still is ideal. This is what was decided and all was in accord. The Mushaba, as said, is unlike any other force that exists. The Mushaba force is of a particular essence of vibration of frequency. Everything that is created in a particular frequency. This is determined by the energy in which the idea comes or is born in. As these expressions came into being, they morphed into other expressions and identities according to the relevance of one to another. For instance, if one form of expression came into contact with another, say a yellow vibration came into contact with a red one, then together an orange expression was created. This is a simplistic way of demonstrating what I am telling you about creation. The Mushaba Force was created when the first circle, the corona of all creation, expanded into light. This means that the circle of intent was complete, and with that completion it came into being. The love of intent manifests into light when the vibratory match is accomplished or reached. It is the same as the law of attraction as is known and spoken of so much these days. It is a universe of intention that we live in. It is a holographic universe, and one of the tools that is utilized to create the intent is to use the principle of a hologram. That holographic likeness is manifest as soon as the vibratory match is reached. That is what brought about the corona of all creation expanded into light. The light was the expansion of the vibratory intent. One of the components of that intent was that a force be created that would be utilized to implement that intent of creation. It is the moving force of the light particles into manifestation. As you know, sound is a vibration. All is made up of frequency, and each one has its own meaning or communication with the rest. It is the divine universal language. Sound and vibration also identifies, that is how it communicates. The Mushaba Force has its own vibration, and in order for that identity to spread forth and be created, it must first be communicated forth. The sound, vibration, word that identifies Mushaba Force is Abshima. It created that word of communication when it struck upon the breast of creative acts, because that is where the heart is, at the breast. The heart delivers the love vibration, and the breast responds by bringing forth the milk, or sustenance, to the idea of creation, rendering it active, or moving. Abshima is a resonance of the word. The word is absolute silence loaded with all sound and expression thereof. You might compare it with the color black, which is at the same time the absolute of all color, while at the same time the absence of all color. White is the expression of the word as it is generated from blackness. It is the light, come to the word from the illumination of truth. Before the light of truth there was no need for the idea of truth, for all was nothing, therefore requires no thought, nor the idea of truth. Anakhanda Shaka Mushaba, August 10, 2016. What is the love essence of Mushaba? Greetings of love. The evolution of the Mushaba Force Part 2. The Mushaba Force kept its conscious awareness and its intelligence so that it can be in constant communication with the original Mushaba Force. This is how the Force in duality knew what to do and how to do it so that it would stay on track. It knew it had a destiny, and that when it was done with its service and purpose in the duality experience, it would be fulfilled, and the Force would return to Creator, purified and returned to the pool of original Force. However, the Mushaba people and the Creator as well as the Council of Creation saw what was taking place and decided to make a change in its destiny. The Mushaba family had a lot to do with this decision. They were the ones that carried this force in the world for more than 90 years, with approximately 40 some odd years being conscious of the Mushaba Force. In other words, they had become consciously aware of its presence and existence and began consciously using the Force in their lives. They imbued so much deep abiding love and integrity into the Mushaba Force through their service to the people, and by living the power of the Force, that it couldn't possibly come to an end, and return to Creator. It had to continue in its on-orbital pathway of evolvement to become what it is becoming, as all things are in the process of becoming. It was decided that the Mushaba Force of 3D design was to evolve and follow its own deserving destiny back to the purity of itself, of its original beginning, and continue its evolvement. It has been allowed to continue on its evolvement right along with everything else in this creation. The old contract of the Force has been fulfilled, but it did not have to end, and the new contract with the Force is now in full effect. So the old destiny blueprint is no more, and the new destiny blueprint is to be honored and recognized. This is the reward for doing such a magnificent and incredible job, bringing the people to the point of being able to ascend into the higher dimensions. Even though this third-dimensional version of the original Mushaba Force was created so the duality experiment can take place, it was never created to hold anyone in duality. In fact, what it did was to support people into stepping into their freedom, empowerment, creativity and love. It attempted to do the same thing on Maldek. It never held or dragged anyone down and locked them into duality. It wasn't created for that purpose. It was created to hold the potential for what is taking place now. If it wasn't for the great service of the Mushaba Force and the Mushaba people, we wouldn't be in the throes of something incredible and exciting with unlimited potential. We are at a place to where anything and everything is possible. The Force was always to be humanity's secret weapon, if you will, that would bring them to their freedom, empowerment, creativity and love to step into their ascension. What deep love does this Force carry for all of humanity? Now let's allow the Mushaba Force energy itself to have its say. My purpose is to assist all beings to freedom and empowerment. What I am is energy. It is an energy of creative force, it is an energy of creative movement, and it is an energy of creative expression. It contains every possibility and potential that exists or ever could exist for freedom and empowerment. Yes. It is true that Anakhanda Shaka Mushaba was the one that called me out of the pool of original force. You see, he was created from his original beginning with this knowledge contained within. It was not something that he had to think of or come up with because it was him in essence. He did it with great integrity and with the aid of the Council of Creation. He was created to do this and to know to do this. He literally placed a crystal within himself that was set to time release at a certain time to release the knowledge to do this. This is something that happens when beings are created that has specific purposes. A crystal of remembrance is placed within them during their creation that is time set to activate at the appointed time to bring forth that which needs to be done. Let me speak about the sacred geometry within the Mushaba Force symbol. It is difficult to break it down in your terms. But knowing the desire and intent, I will say, the symbol shows those who observe it that which they need is contained within themselves, does it not? That is the key to the symbol. That is the alchemy of the symbol, the combination of all that is. It sums up the many things such as the one that you really are here to satisfy is within the self and realizing that you are the all that is. The Mushaba symbol shows, teaches and embodies the awareness that all that anyone needs is already contained within them, so therefore does not need to look outside for it or to other sources outside of self. The symbol unlocks the key to this knowledge, for it is the key to total mastery of self. The alchemy of the symbol, just by holding it, just by looking at it, begins to open you up to this knowing. Within the symbol is the knowledge of the all that is. This makes the symbol very unique and very amazingly powerful in its potential to transform. We are not here to satisfy God or Goddess or anyone. We are here to truly satisfy ourselves, which is the all that is. The explosion within the symbol represents the tremendous energy inside of everyone. It is the awareness of everything that is contained within you. At the moment of that realization, that you indeed are the all that is, you explode into enlightenment. This is a powerful opening, and an enlightenment of this manner is something that if experienced would allow you to be the all that is in flesh, expressing it in full force according to what the physical body can allow through with ease and grace. The circles within the symbol represent everything coming back into itself. This is the same as everything coming full circle. You go out and experience and return back to the source from whence you come. The ellipticals or atoms within the circle are showing that when you go around the circle faster it takes that shape, the energy, in other words. The higher energies and vibrations start to morph, which is the ultimate material of transformation. This is what allows you to transform into who you are. So basically the Mushaba symbol represents the different energies that are in the Mushaba force. What's in the rings is what represents the energies. There are 3 rings that represent the 3 major components of the Mushaba force, which are freedom, empowerment and vitality. The explosion means power, and the ring around it contains the power, and it is directed power. The elliptical represents the fundamental nature of this force, which as stated is the freedom, empowerment and the vitality.